Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Friday, May 12th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you are someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of quick clarifications. Number one, the price you see over here will be changing, and the candlestick you see right there will also be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time, but I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, JAGX, and this is a very, very impressive pattern right here. Impressive in the form of it's not very hard to see. So as I draw this out, don't make it, I'm not trying to come across like this is a great discovery on my part or some sort of great special talent. In my mind, a lot of people have noticed this and drawn out this exact pattern right here. So let me just change this to the same color, make it easier to see. So we have our resistance, we have our support, and then we have the big upwards move right there, and then make it a little bit more visually appealing. For you golfers out there, we'll put a golf ball down here. So what we have here is a bull pennant pattern. So while nothing is guaranteed, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want, it is valid to think that if the price were to come back up to this pattern and get the break up through it, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure. Again, there are no guarantees, but it's certainly a plausible scenario, even if it all just happens, well, just because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if you like bull pennant patterns and you like this price range right around the dollar mark, keep an eye on it. Next, ticker symbol PACW, and this is one that's been in the news and is now back in the news. And, got the gap down here. So very popular stock. A lot of people watching it. So always interesting. And it's also a popular price range. So always interesting to keep an eye on these. So the first level that I think a lot of people will be watching is right there at 440. And 440 is important because as of now, to give some credit's due, from where the price was at the lows during the opening 30 minutes to where it is right now, it has made an upwards move, but that does bring about a valid question. Yeah, but is there any sort of true power behind this move, or is this just some sort of dead cat bounce? And I have no idea, but a leading indicator of whether or not this is truly strong is, well, let's see if the price can even make progress. Meaning if the price comes down here and breaks down through it, what would that be doing to the price at that point in time? It would quite literally be putting the price right back to where it was. And not to insult your intelligence, but price movements that go back to where they were, not exactly a sign of genuine power. However, on the flip side of things, if the price can come down here and instead behave like this and then turn back upwards, what do you have in this scenario? Well, you have a set of lows right there, you have a low right there, and you envision those as stair steps, and now you have stair steps making progress in the upwards direction, and that's what it's all about, showing signs of progress. And once again, the quote-unquote sign of progress in this situation would be staying up above 440. In terms of areas of resistance, level that you gotta, I would say, keep an eye on is right here at that trend line, which puts a breakup point right around $4.90. Next one, SBFM, and big mover today, now have the big pullback, which creates an interesting scenario because the pullback is seemingly over, and I say it's seemingly over because of a very basic dynamic, and that is the price has at least started to go sideways right down here around the 80-cent mark. Now, let me be very clear, and I wish I could say trading was this easy. Just because the price had a big pullback and just because the price started to go sideways does not mean for sure guaranteed this is the bottom and for sure guaranteed this thing is going to rocket back upwards. My point here is it at least becomes valid. It at least becomes plausible at this point to throw out, yeah, maybe this is some sort of bottom. Case in point, if the price was still dropping, and I'm sitting here saying, hey, it's looking like this could be the bottom, you'd be completely justified to say, what are you talking about? The price is literally just going straight down. But that's not the case here, right? It has at least started to go sideways. So guaranteed bottom? Of course not. Rational to think that it could be the bottom? Absolutely. So if you like these sorts of dynamics, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, GOOG, Google, and very straightforward, as I already talked about. So I'm going to go through this one a little quicker because you already heard me give the sales pitch that, hey, you know what? I'm doing nothing special here. I'm just drawing a basic pattern and a pattern that you got to think a lot of other people are watching. So self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can definitely produce some dynamic movements. The biggest difference here, I would say, is this is just on a higher price stock. So whether you trade options or maybe the stock itself and you like this pattern, I'd say keep an eye on it. So there's a resistance, there's a support, there's a nice upwards move there. There is a golf hole down there for the bull pennant pattern. So like I said, if you like bull pennants, you like this price range, or you play options, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, AMC, and another rough day. Very rough day, and not necessarily because it was red, but in fact, let me squeeze on the chart, but because from a technical point of view, it has been, didn't need to go that far, but it has been a very long time since the price has dropped down below that pink line right there, which on my chart denotes the very well-known, the very famous 200 period moving average. So not a good sign at all that that level's been broken. So moving forward, now to give some credit where credit's due, nice little bounce here this afternoon. So if this bounce is going to continue, then there's certainly some big battlegrounds that lie ahead. First big battleground is just simply going to be that 200 period moving average, which is based on a foundational premise in charting. When levels of support are broken and closed below, they tend to act as resistance. And then the secondary thing to watch is going to be that trend line there, which I think will eventually come into play again at some point. So those are going to be the two main areas of resistance. As far as supports, nothing fancy, nothing complicated here at all. Literally just a question of where did the bleeding finally stop today? And that was down there at 520, so that would be the reason why, at least in my opinion, and for that reason alone, why it's worth an area to watch and potentially consider as support. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online class that I'm offering. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then certainly get signed up for the free live class. Now, one special note here, it is live, so a couple scenarios. Maybe you already have something on your schedule this evening and you can't make it, or maybe you're watching this Friday morning and you completely missed it. It will be recorded, so if you want to see the recording of it, go ahead and send me an email. All I ask is, because it's a live event, it first needs to happen, and then I need to get it uploaded, and then I'd be happy to send you a link to it. So like I said, if you can't make it live, then send me an email. But if you can make it live, then hopefully I'll see you here in just a few hours. Next one, NIO, and this revolves around the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies again. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it because you've already heard me say that a couple times. But you got to think a ton of people have connected those 2 points to create this trend line, which means that everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be watching that trend line right there, especially those breakout players, and wondering, hey, what happens if the price can get up there? And if the price can break through it, then as you've heard me say, even if it's just a self-fulfilling prophecy, it's not guaranteed, but rational to think that a break of that level could create just that much more upwards potential. And in that situation, sometimes stocks are that basic. Now, notice the idea of a watch list. I'm not saying to randomly rush out and buy anything, but watch it and keep an eye on it and see how the price behaves around that trend line if you like to play potential breakouts. Next one here, DIS, Disney, and same general idea as the one I previously talked about. I don't remember the ticker, but same general idea. Big gap down here, and then after the gap down, opening 30 minutes, you can see here, just dropped and dropped and dropped. However, the price, maybe say it with me, the price did what? It at least started to go sideways. So does that mean that this is a guaranteed bottom here at $91.90? Absolutely not. Is it rational to think that the selling pressure is finally done, and from a trading standpoint, there could potentially be a bounce, even if it's just a dead cat bounce? Again, from a trading standpoint, that's all you need. You don't need some sort of massive reversal to make money. Sometimes you just need a slight dead cat bounce. So rational to think that way, especially it's Disney, super popular stock. People are looking for any reason to buy super popular stocks like this. And like I said, it's seemingly as of now, the buyers have stepped in. So if you like to play well-known stocks that have gotten beat down and then show signs that it could potentially be a bottom, such as going sideways, keep an eye on it. Next one, AMZN, Amazon, fantastic move, not necessarily today, but really the past several days, just essentially going straight up here and has now formed some interesting dynamics. So the first level, and again, self-fulfilling prophecies, once again, got to think that a lot of people are watching that, flat area of resistance right up there at the big round number of $113. And then from the other point of view, you have this trend line in right here. So let me change that to green, and I'm going to just go move quickly because I know you know everything else I'm going to say from this point, but still, because I can't help myself, I just want to make sure that everybody can visualize it. So there's a resistance, there's a support, there's a nice upwards move, there's a golf hole down here. So another bull pennant pattern. So if you like bull pennants on higher price stocks, or maybe you do options, then here you go. Keep an eye on it. Next one here, TSLA, Tesla, and I'm guessing there's news out right now because check down here at this volume. Absolutely pouring in, huge volume bar right there, big spike. So for those reasons alone is reason enough to put it on here. But because, again, the idea of a watch list to find unique, to find interesting situations and not randomly rush out and buy, but to watch. So when you have volume just pouring in, big spike, is this the start of something bigger? What exactly is going on here? And the chart is also nice enough to give us a very well-defined level. So goes to, which I've talked about in the past charts, self-fulfilling prophecies. I mean, check out that level right there, up at 174, rejected, and now the price got even somewhat close to it right there and rejected once again. So you better believe that as far as breakout players are concerned, everybody and their brother's uncle is going to be saying, whoa, volume spike, big green candle. Is this a leading indicator to a bigger breakout to come? We'll see what happens, but grab your popcorn. Next one, TQQQ, which is an ETF that measures the NASDAQ market. So if the NASDAQ market goes up, this one will also go up. And this will mean a little bit more to those of you that watched the video from yesterday on Wednesday, but I put in that resistance trend line right there. And while it was not perfect, it did a pretty impressive job of forecasting where problem areas would be. You can see right there, Sunshine got rejected back down, came back up, and once again, not perfect, but generally speaking, right around that area, momentum ran out and it pulled back. But the good news is that this is an upsloping trend line. So the fact, the price is getting rejected by it, but that does also mean that the price continues to put in these higher highs. And what I'm now curious about moving forward is this, and this is a very near-term thing. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this up a little bit now that we have more data. And then I'm also going to put this right here. We do now have a rising wedge pattern, which is a bearish pattern. Now, let me be very clear. Just because it's bearish does not mean that the price is for sure guaranteed going to go down. It also does not mean that if it does go down, that this pattern is projecting some sort of collapse all the way down there. I'm not saying that either. If anything, what I'd be curious about, and the main reason I'm mapping it out, is if this level does fail and you're some sort of pullback player, then of course, no guarantees, but I could see the price coming down and testing that. And then from a long side of things, having that be a very valid risk-reward scenario where the price very well could reverse back upwards. But point being is if the price never actually breaks to the downside of this rising wedge pattern, then yeah, if you're sitting down there waiting for 28.50, seems more than likely than not that you just want to get filled on the trade. But again, that's could potentially disagree with me completely, and I can respect that. For those that everybody's thinking for, let's all think for ourselves, right? We can help each other out, but at the end of the day, got to think for ourselves. But my point here is that it's looking like potentially a pullback is going to be needed here on Friday with this rising wedge pattern. But overall, the chart continues putting those higher highs, and that's what you want from a bigger picture point of view. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here, then I want you to get signed up for the free live class. Like I said, it'll be in a few hours here on Thursday, today, May 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. But like I said, if you can't make it, then the live event will be recorded. So go ahead, send me an email to clay@claytrader.com. And after the event has happened and I get it uploaded, then I would be happy to send you a link to that. Also, as far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, please do two things for me. Hit that like button, leave a comment down below. People have been doing great with that lately. These videos getting more comments, which really helps out, communicates to me that you're enjoying. So even if you just want to type a number or type a ticker symbol that you traded today, those things go a long way. So hit that like button, leave a comment down below, and either get signed up for the class, and I'll see you here in a few hours, or send me an email.